back to another episode of Delusional Sports. We got our predictor roulette, the undrafted. Who you got going?
All right, to start off, I've got the Bills beating the Patriots 24-21. This is going to be a big defensive game. All year long, the Patriots defense have been keeping their offense in the game. That being said, the Bills are 5th highest rated in rushing, and the Patriots, known as a passing team, are rated 8th highest. And you know that I'm always going to pick the rushing team over the passing team. So yeah, Bills 24-21.
All right, up next I got the Raiders beating the Chargers 17-14. The Raiders let me down last week. Please don't let me down again. The Chargers are 5.5 point favorites. I really don't see that. I know they're at home, but their home really isn't home. They're moving. So, and the Raiders, neither team really has much to fight for, but I feel like the Raiders have pride to fight for, especially after that loss last week.
Alrighty, so for mine, I got the Dolphins beating the Bengals 17-10. I definitely think it's going to be a really good defensive game, not a whole lot of scoring, but I honestly feel like the Dolphins are going to take the dub.
Yeah. Then next, I had the Cardinals and the Seahawks. I think that the Seahawks are going to win the one 24-9, playing at home. The Seahawks are 9th in passing and 3rd in rushing. It's going to be a big difference whenever it comes game day. And then the Cardinals are just overall just completely underwhelming, not doing a whole lot with what they're given. So that's what I got for this week.
All right, and I got the Rams and 49ers. The 49ers are 6.5 point favorites, basically a touchdown. But I actually have the Rams winning 30-16. Once again, the 49ers let me down last week. I can see the Rams, this is the second time they played this year, I can see the Rams actually coming back and getting a win there, 30-16.
Alrighty, so for my next one, I got the Jags and Falcons. I got the Jags beating the Falcons 21-17. The Jags are definitely, the Falcons have been coming off with their very few wins, and then the Jags are just not doing that great either. But I feel like the Jags would win that 21-17 with their passing game.
Yeah. After that, I've got the Chiefs and the Bears. Even though the Bears are at home, they're going to lose 17-14. Unless Khalil Mack can do something to stop Mahomes. Mahomes is just too much for any team that doesn't have enough defensive weapons, which I think the Bears are lacking this year with Akeem Hicks out.
All right, and then up next I got the Ravens and Browns. I got the Ravens winning 27-17. The Ravens are still playing for a top spot. The Browns, I don't know what they've been playing for this year. Not really sure. Maybe another draft pick. Baltimore's favored 10, and I'm going to give them 10. I think they're going to win 27-17.
Alright, so for my next one, I got Lions and Broncos. Lions are going to win that one 18-10. It's going to be an 8-point game. The Lions are going to pull off their next win with their passing and running game. The Broncos, they've had some pretty good games, but I just feel like the Lions are a superior team.
Yeah. All right. Hot pick of the week: Cowboys versus Eagles game. That's going to be 16-12 Cowboys. The Cowboys are better at both passing and rushing, and the defense is making stops, whereas the Eagles' defense has been kind of porous a lot of the time. And I've been having a rough time getting the rushing game going. I think it's going to be a good game, though, but it's still going to come down to 16-12 Cowboys.
All right. Up next, I got the Steelers and Jets. I got the Steelers winning that 16-10. Like I said, the Steelers are still playing for a playoff spot. The Jets, they're playing for a draft pick. And they haven't been able to seem to score a lot of points. And the Steelers are favored by 3, but I'm going to go ahead and give them that 16-10 win.
For my next one, I got the Panthers beating the Colts 21-17. I definitely feel like Kyle Allen's going to stop throwing interceptions and pull his head out of his ass and win that one against the Colts. The Colts are definitely doing not too bad this season, but the Panthers, I feel like, will pull off that dub 21-17.
Okay. So after I predicted the Cowboys-Eagles game, after that I go to the Giants and Redskins, where I have the Redskins winning that 32-14. This is just going to see who's going to round off the bottom of the division. I guess that's fun to watch. I don't think that's a good move for the Jags bringing Eli back. I think that's going to come back to bite him in the butt. Not that they were doing too well without him, but his days are numbered in the NFL. And then the Redskins are better at rushing. So I got the Redskins winning this one.
All right, and my last one I got is the Texans and Bucks, and I got the Bucks winning that 38-24. The Texans are favored by 2.5 points, but they're so inconsistent that this is going to be the week that kills them. They're going to lose to the Bucks 38-24. We got Mr. Gunner, Jameis Winston, throwing 4 touchdowns again, probably 2 or 3 interceptions. But like I said, the inconsistent Texans are not going to take advantage of his interceptions. Got the Bucks winning by a couple TDs.
For me, for my last one, I got the Saints beating the Titans in a doozy, 40-27. I feel like the Saints passing game is just superior to the Titans, and I feel like the Saints are going to win that one 40-27.
All right, and moving on, we asked you guys, the viewers, just comment any topics that you want us to talk about sports related. It could be anything, hockey, curling, whatever it is, NFL, WWE, anything. Just ask us in the comments below. Just let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll talk about it. But one of the comments that we had gotten was the top 3 underrated players in the NFL. The undrafted, what is your top 3 underrated players in the NFL?
So a name I don't think we've heard quite enough is Derrick Henry. Does anybody know he's got more yards than Christian McCaffrey this year?
Rushing.
Rushing, yes. He's got more rushing
Not
yards.
Not overall yards.
I'm sorry.
Right. But rushing, yeah.
Yeah, he's got more rushing yards than anybody else in the league.
Right.
And I haven't heard his name maybe twice this year.
Yeah, he's been a couple heavy hitters. So.
Okay.
Derrick Henry definitely has been one of the best players for the Titans lately.
Right. And he's been one of the key reasons that they are making a run for the playoffs.
Yeah,
exactly.
So. He's got 13 touchdowns this year as well.
Right.
He has, and then I know that in the last game somebody's going to call him out for. He got 5 fumbles and lost 3 of them.
Yeah.
Which
that might be a big reason why they lost. Though.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah. Especially against the Houston Texans, who are really inconsistent. Right.
So for my top 3 underrated players, you guys are gonna hate me for what I've chosen, but I just feel like these guys just really don't get enough credit for what they do. My first one is Cole Beasley. I definitely feel like he doesn't. I definitely feel like Cole Beasley doesn't get enough credit for what he does for the Bills, and I just feel like that if he was on any other team, he would get noticed more, but since he's on the Bills, he just doesn't get enough credit. And then my next one is Luke Wilson for the Seattle Seahawks. He hasn't played a whole lot this season, but at the same time, anytime he does, he doesn't get enough credit for what he does. He makes tremendous runs, he makes tremendous receptions, and he may only have 79 yards and 0 touchdowns, but at the same time, he's definitely a really good tight end for us. And then my third one is going to be the quarterback, Marcus Mariota for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Everyone says he's a terrible quarterback, but in my opinion, Marcus Mariota is definitely a really good quarterback to have for the Titans. And I definitely feel like he does not get enough credit for what he does for him.
Is Cole Beasley a favorite player in the league?
No.
It really is just a random question.
No.
Where is he? Is he the second?
And he's definitely maybe in my top 10 wide receivers, but not my top 10 favorites.
I just wonder because you bring him up like he's I don't know. I guess like he's like.
This is the only second week I've done that though.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think he's going to start this week?
I don't know.
Him and Kyle Allen? Okay, alright. Just
so anyway, no, you can have whoever you want. I'm just wondering if he's your favorite player because like you stand by his side. That's cool.
I definitely feel like the stuff he does for the Bills is tremendous, but I don't feel like he's one of my favorite players.
You think he should be talked about more though?
Yeah.
Yes,
I think he should get more credit. Than
I feel like he gets more credit than what he's getting right now. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so moving on to my top 3 underrated players in the NFL. The first one I got is Shaq Thompson. If you don't know who he is, like I said, he's underrated. He's the inside linebacker next to Luke Kuechly for the Carolina Panthers. His contract was up this year, but we got him re-signed 4-year, $54 million deal, which is, that's about right for a linebacker. He got paid accordingly. Because he's a monster and he works really well with Luke Kuechly. I would say any positives this year for the defense honestly is just him. I mean, even Luke Kuechly looks frustrated out there. Moving on to my second one is a big surprise, Jacoby Brissett. Most people obviously didn't think that he was even going to start this year because of Andrew Luck, but since Andrew Luck retired, Jacoby Brissett stepped in. He did a wonderful job. I don't think that they're going to end up making the playoffs.
Yeah.
But, I mean, especially to start the year, I believe they started out 6-4 or something. They were definitely in playoff contention for most of the year. And they kind of fell off at the end. He had a couple injuries, and he did really well stepping in that Andrew Luck retirement. And that's great. I'm really proud of that. And then TJ Chark for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's in his second year. Last year you might as well have just counted him out of the NFL. He worked with a couple guys. I mentioned this in a previous episode, but he worked with route running guys, in the offseason and really honed his game. And he's going to be one, in years to come, he's going to be one of the best wide receivers in the league. He had two quarterbacks thrown to him all year. And he's still racked up. I think he's second in touchdowns, and he's like top 10 yards in a Jacksonville Jaguars offense too. Leonard Fournette's underperforming. The rest of the team's really underperforming. They don't really even have a tight end. So the fact that he's able to shine through that, and they started out doing pretty well, is pretty tremendous to me. And those are my three underrated players in the NFL.
Yeah.
Moving on, our next segment, we thought we'd do something pretty cool and pretty fun. And that's how many more years does Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, and Ben Roethlisberger have in the league? Ricky, what do you believe? What do you think about that?
Okay, for me,
let's go player by player.
Okay, player. So how many more years do you think Tom Brady has?
Okay, for Tom Brady, he's 42 years old, and for this, he as we all know, he recently re-signed a contract with the Patriots because they wanted him to take. They wanted him to take him to. Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
When did he sign?
They signed like a 1-year contract for this year, or it might have been a 2-year contract. 2 years.
The beginning of the season, his contract was up.
No, this is
What are you talking about?
He's a free agent after this year.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what?
Keep on.
Yeah. Anyways, he's 42 years old, and I feel like this is definitely going to be his last year in the NFL, just because he's old and he's not doing as well as he used to.
Right.
He's starting to go downhill.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think that after this year, I think he should retire and inflate balls. Maybe become a cameraman somewhere. Selling that to rivals. Something that I was talking to Jen about is the fact that he did step down as chairman of the charity that he had in Boston. That's just a sign of him not planning on at least signing again with the Patriots. If he decides to go somewhere else, it can be his retirement party, whatever. He can go play 1 year with the
Kind of like a Brett Favre.
Yeah.
The fact that he has a 50.7 quarterback rating right now is really surprising considering how he's been doing this season. But at the same time, as Chin said last week, a lot of his players have been getting hurt and sick. So I'm still think it's because he's getting old, but it might be because his team's deteriorating.
He is slowing down. Which up to this year, he was actually getting faster with getting the ball out of his hand.
Right.
That's not something about that, but this year, he's hit a wall.
All right, and for Brady, for me, I believe he has 2 years left. I think he's always a super competitor. Like, he's just a crazy competitor, and regardless of how good he is, somebody's gonna go pick him up. Whether they're like, bait him in and be like, hey, yeah, you're gonna start all year, and then bench him after a couple games. I don't know. But if he's gonna go somewhere, he won't be with the Patriots next year. So if he's gonna go somewhere, he's gonna go somewhere with the line, kind of like what Peyton Manning did. Okay. And honestly, the Broncos are a pretty good. Would be a pretty good place for him. Yeah. The Broncos. They play in a little bit of weather because I want to say Chicago too, but they also play in a little bit of weather. But why not? Someone like the San Diego Chargers. They would, in order for him to go to any of those teams, though, he would want the line. He would want a solid line.
Yeah.
If not, I just don't really see him in a Patriots jersey after this year. I don't believe that they're going to do well this year, but I could definitely see him making one more run. And even the Saints, if Drew Brees retires, I can see him going to the Saints. They have a really good roster. Which leads me into my next one. How many more years do you think Drew Brees has?
Drew Brees, in my opinion, I definitely think he has a couple more years in him. I think he's going to pull a Tom Brady and play up until he feels like he can't no more. Drew Brees is 40 years old, but so far this season he's only thrown 17 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and he's a 68.9 quarterback rating.
And he was hurt for 6 games.
He was hurt for 6 games as well, which explains his lower stats. But at the same time, a 68.9 quarterback rating, that's, in my opinion, if I was the coach, that'd be a good enough reason for me to keep him on the team for a couple more years. So.
Yeah. Well, I think that what he should do is, if he wins the Super Bowl this year, he should pull a Peyton Manning and go ahead and just retire while he's still the king.
Right. I agree with you. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that, I mean, if he can break Peyton Manning's record first this year, which I'm sure he can, I think he should break the record and then, just be like, you know what, retire as the king.
Right.
Just like Peyton Manning did.
So
Peyton Manning definitely could have played for more years.
Right.
He was like, you know what, he said, I think that he looked bad. He made the decision, but he looked bad winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
Literally, they lost. The only stats they wanted is turnovers in the points, which was the only thing that matters.
The points, you're right.
Right, but no.
Okay.
That whole year, no. I mean, Osweiler played for him half the year.
But Drew Brees could definitely break any record Peyton Manning has set, especially if they can go to the Super Bowl this year. But that depends if they get screwed out of it or not.
Yeah. So honestly, I agree with the undrafted over here. I think if his contract's up this year, so if they win, go ahead and retire. If not, they have a really good team. He might go for another one. He might want to go back to back and then retire. I think he does still. You could see that it may look like he has a lot of football left, but as we've seen, with Tom Brady last year, he went deep in the playoffs, and now this year, you're kind of seeing the signs of it. And they won the Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so he might not only have a Super Bowl hangover, he might look really bad. Worse than he does this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, he's back at it again next year.
No,
he's back at it again.
That's what I was saying. If they win the Super Bowl, do what Peyton Manning did, just be like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this again, and I don't want to be on the decline on my way out.
Right. So that leads us into Peyton's younger brother, Eli. What do you have, Ricky?
Eli Manning, I feel like he's going to end up leaving the Giants and going somewhere where he has a better roster. He is 38 years old and only a 34.7 quarterback rating, which is, in my opinion, one of the worst in the league right now. He's thrown a lot of interceptions since he's been with the Giants, and ever since he's just been going downhill ever since his last Super Bowl win. So I feel like he's either going to leave the league or he's going to sign with a different team.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like you said, Eli is definitely on the downswing of his career, and kind of has been the past few years, like you're saying. I think it was really cute of the Patriots to throw him a bone and let him start a couple more games. The last few games. Yeah, the Giants, what did I say?
You said Patriots.
Oh my goodness, no.
Yeah, the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants. The Giants are being really nice, letting him start a few more games when it doesn't matter.
Right.
Cool. But yeah, I say he's got maybe one more year on him before it's time for him to just say, best years are behind me.
And I'll say it does kind of matter because the reason why they took him out when they did is so his career record would not go under 500. Okay. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, I'm saying when it doesn't matter for the team.
Right, but then he came back and they've lost those games. So
and at the same time.
So you think that he should keep going? What's your take on it?
So Eli Manning's done after this year. Definitely a Hall of Fame player. Okay. Whoever says he's not, don't talk about sports ever again. Because one, he got his 2 Super Bowls before his Hall of Fame brother Peyton Manning did, and it took Peyton Manning literally one of the best rosters, especially defensively, almost ever seen. Especially definitely number 1 that year. So.
And he beat out the Patriots both times.
And he made an accomplishment beating the 16-0 Patriots.
Yeah.
Patriots, whatever you want to call them.
And also, in my opinion, to me, Eli Manning, the reason why he's on his downfall currently is because they lost Odell, which by far was probably one of their best wide receivers.
As he was a good wide receiver, I don't believe.
He got one ball.
Right. But But Phillip Rivers, what do you got? What do you think?
Phillip Rivers, I've heard a lot of talk that he's gonna sign with a different team, and he's gonna leave the Chargers. And he is 38 years old. He doesn't have a bad quarterback rating, honestly. And honestly, if he goes to a different team with a better roster and just say a better, a better franchise, then I feel like he'll definitely get a Super Bowl win before his retirement career, before he retires his career.
Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. He needs to try with a different team. He's not getting any younger. I think that he should take maybe a couple more years, 1 or 2 years, play with a different team, see if they're at least looking good. If not, then just say, you know what, it's my legacy to be I would say the best quarterback to never win a Super Bowl.
All right. Phillip Rivers' contract is up this year. He's been throwing interceptions left and right. He's kind of in the same boat Eli Manning is. They came together. They came in the league together, especially them. You know, all three hit those two and Roethlisberger. I say that his contract's up. I think it's kind of like a Tom Brady situation, but Tom Brady definitely has more pull than Phillip Rivers. But I feel like if he likes the situation, let's just say like if Tennessee doesn't want to go with Tannehill, if he wants to go Tennessee, then he might go. Other than that, in my opinion, he hangs it up.
He just calls it?
Yeah, calls it. Same team all of his career. Yeah. Hangs it up.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
I agree, yeah.
Which, if he was to go to the Titans, I feel like they have a solid roster for Phillip Rivers to maybe win a Super Bowl with. So we'll just have to wait and see what he does.
Yeah. And what do you think about BenRoethlisberger?
BenRoethlisberger, I know he's been hurt most of the season. This season, he's only had 37 yards. 351 yards, 0 touchdowns. But at the same time, he's been hurt, and I feel like he's been hurt a lot in his career, and at the same time, he's won Super Bowls even with those injuries. So I feel like Ben Roethlisberger has a few more years in him. He might stay with the Steelers. He might go to a different team. I don't know. So
yeah, I don't know. He's never been out for this long with an injury before, though. Usually, you're right. He'll get an injury, and he'll be like, "I'll play through it." And you're right, do a really good job.
Yeah.
At this point, he said, "I'm hurt. I'm out for the rest of the season."
Yeah, but as far as I know, it's a broken elbow. So how are you supposed to pass the ball with a broken elbow?
How are you supposed to pass the ball with a broken ankle? You played through that. But
if you think about it, you throw it. This is your elbow.
I think it's his off elbow.
Is it his off? Even though, you have to have a good base to throw a football. Right. Which right now we're getting to semantics of injury versus injury. He's just too old to play. Which also at the same time, you can't. If you have a broken elbow, you can't take one hit. One hit can ruin your entire life, not just your career.
Exactly. So that's why I feel like he's been sitting out trying to get healthy, and then I feel like he's going to come back next season and play the best he's ever played.
I disagree. I think if he does come back, he's going to come back and flop. He's also getting old, just like all these guys.
Right, but at the same time,
he came in with, like I said, Rivers and Manning.
Yeah.
So.
They're all getting old, and I think that he's in the worst situation.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's also the youngest out of all these other quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But he has had more injuries than them. But at the same time, he's the youngest, so he has more of a chance to stay and maybe at least get them into the playoffs.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who are Steelers fans, and I hope that he can do that, but I'm saying that I doubt it.
Right.
Okay, so he actually has, I don't know if you guys know, but yeah, he has 1 more year with the Steelers on his contract.
Okay.
So he's definitely going to play next year. Injuries aren't all that bad, especially when you get older, because like you would think, like, yeah, if it's an injury, he's older, he's done, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, if it's his off elbow, it's not going to affect too much when he comes back. Just like Drew Brees, it was his throwing thumb, but it wasn't going to affect too much when he comes back. But you know what he gets? A whole year off.
Okay.
So, even Brady's whole year off, torn ACL, he looks a lot better coming back. Especially for someone like Roethlisberger, who can stay in the pocket and can throw 450 yards in a game, I think they'll make a couple draft picks, maybe pick up a couple guys on the offense, offensive lineman, and maybe a receiver, tight end. And I think they're going to try to make one last run at it next year. And if they can't, I think he hangs it up as well.
Yeah. No, that's what I was saying. Yeah, take 1 more year, which, I actually didn't know that he had 1 year on his contract. I don't know. there's also the possibility of them trying him the first few games and seeing what he can do. If not, handing off to somebody else for the rest of the season like they did this year, which he got hurt, but
Right.
they could start.
And they are playoff bound. Projected to be in the playoffs right now. They're one game ahead of the Titans. But it looks like they'll probably get in. Whether it's the Titans or Texans, flopping, but it looks like they're going to get in without him.
Yeah.
So it's not like they have a bad roster. All I'm saying is, they're gonna reform around Roethlisberger because he's proven that he's won a Super Bowl before, and he'll make one more run at it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, and that'll conclude it for this episode of Delusional Sports. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.